one of the reasons that we're going live today is one, to show you some fun cards, and projects, but also to tell you a little bit about something exciting that we're doing in April.
Yes, we finally have all of the, well, not all of it, that would be an exaggeration, but we have the bones of our end stage ready, so we'll be sharing that with you at the end. But we can tell you it's the second Saturday in April.
April 13th.
Yep, second Saturday in April.
April 13th.
It's the same weekend that Stampin' Up! Is doing their on stage. And one of the points of us doing it is we found that we as a group have attended a lot of Stampin' Up! Events. But because when they've changed it so that there's April and November events in random places, we're having a harder time getting to a one-day event. So in Indiana, where we are, it was 9 hours to get to anywhere. And we figured the expense would average about $1,200. So we decided to do something here local for those of us who could not get to an event, but love getting together with other demonstrators, sharing ideas and business tips, doing some swapping and socializing. And we wanted an opportunity to do that with some friends around here and maybe some people we don't know.
Yep. So stay tuned after all of our stamping, and we will fill you in on all the details on how you can come join us and how you can get in all the stamping and all the prizes. And the prizes actually start on Monday. This Monday? Yeah, the 4th.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We're going to draw for the first prize on Monday because we're going to have some early bird registration. But we'll give you the details when we're all done showing you our fun little projects.
Yep. And so we would also appreciate it if you're, well, there's an online version and an in-person version, so no matter where you are in the United States, you can share it with people, but we'd love for you to share it with all of the people that you know, so whether or not you're in Indiana or whether you're any place in the United States. So if you're going to do the online version, you don't, or I guess it's not really online, it's the away version.
Yeah, it's like if you can't make it,
Yeah.
It's not online,
So you don't even have to be available on that day.
yeah,
You can do that one whenever. So you can tell from our attire that we are going green today, so we're going to show you some St. Patrick's Day ideas. And the fun thing about the St. Patrick's Day ideas is you can switch them up to be any occasion ideas. So the one I'm going to show you, I'm going to do at my camp next week. So I'm going to show it to my girls 2 different ways. So I'm going to show you guys the St. Patrick's version, and then when I make my video for YouTube, I'm going to show the St. Patrick's Day, and then tomorrow on my Facebook Live, I'm going to do a pink version, which will be a birthday version. So that way at camp, they'll be able to pick if they want to do a St. Patrick's one, or a regular, just a birthday version. Or congratulations. I'm going to use the sweet cupcake set, which is a celebration set. Hello, Cupcake. So if you don't have it yet, this is it. And of course, for customers starting tomorrow, they'll be able to get the dies, and the dies are so much fun. So I'm going to show you a couple of tips and tricks with the dies. Is this one already recording?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to show you just a couple of different, I'm kind of scattered because I'm not going to make the whole card for you, but I'm also going to use, this is the sequins embossing folder, and it was last year's occasions catalog. But it goes with the theme of this card really well. And I wanted to be able to pull some gold into the card because, you know, green and gold. So I'm going to take, if I can find it, this is just a full quarter sheet of white cardstock. For my first mock-up card, I used like a 4" by 5 1/4, and I liked it better on my second one when I did like a full quarter. You know, sometimes we do it one way and then we're like, eh. So the second one I did this. So you just run this through once. And if you haven't used the sequins embossing folder, there's more sequins towards the bottom than at the top, kind of like the one that has the softly falling. So I wanted more sequins, so I've placed the paper as far down as I can. So it leaves you with this, which later you can watch the up close. I'll put this on later so you'll be able to see it. And then I took this little cake dome, which I love terrariums, I love cake domes, I love all those kind of things. I have several of them in my house. Do you only have new plates over here? I hate to cut on your new plates.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tanya's, Yes, that's better. Okay. I don't want to be the first one to cut on your brand new plate.
I love the fact that Stampin' Up! Starting tomorrow has come up with the coordination items that go with some of our favorite celebration sets. So there's Thinlit dies now that go with the Hello Cupcake, the frog set, and the lilies that you can get. So don't miss out. If you go to someone's website, it's the Celebration Coordination.
So here, I just laid it kind of towards the top. And then you want to keep this piece of paper, and I'll show you why, which if you watch my other video later, you would see the whole reason why, but you do need to save that. And it leaves you with this. So you have like the hole cut out. And then to stamp it, see how much of a mess I can make.
It doesn't take a very long
I know.
time.
I was so happy because I cleaned off my table this week, like seriously cleaned it off. And you know how exciting it is when your whole work table's finally cleaned off again, because it lasts for like one card and then it's done. So then I folded my card in half, and this is just a white piece of cardstock. And then you're gonna lay this piece just on here. And this was why I liked the full one better. It just gave the full card a better look. So then that was to be able to figure out where to stamp it. I took the cupcake bottom and I used Call Me Clover because I thought it looked the most of the St. Patrick's Day greens for this card. And so you just hold this where you want it to be because it's going to be raised up. Hi, Sarah. My phone's right where I'm stamping, so I can see that you just joined us. So stamp this on here. So then later when you go to raise this up, it's going to be exactly where you need it to be.
That's just brilliant.
It's so cute.
So it'll be up like that. And then if you take the light Call Me Clover, and you don't want to color like a ton, because if you do, it will smear it. But just take the brush tip, and I just did every other one, so it would kind of give a stripey. And so when I do this at camp, I'm going to use probably maybe flamingo, because I want it to be pink, but I don't want it to look like Valentine's Day, because we've been there, done that just recently.
It's the St. Patrick's
You could do
Day.
orange and make it springy.
Yeah. I even thought about maybe doing purple. So I'm going to do a different color so it's birthday and not... So that gives you that. And then a lot of people don't know what this little piece is, but it's the cake. So I did it in a lighter brown, and then I think in soft suede, and then I did the frosting on top in espresso. I know, Beatrice, it's hard for us to show you, but we'll have this on here later, the up close, so you'll be able to see it later. As soon as I get home and I'm able to edit this, then it'll be on here. And then you'll be able to see the up close, because we can't get all of us into this. We've tried, it just doesn't work. Then the last tip and trick I have is to show you this, which if you've used any of these little things on the foil, which are these, I'm gonna run them through for you, and I'll have Tanya take them up and show you what I'm doing with them. These are just on the gold foil, and the stamp set has, okay, let me remember, like the dies cut out most of the pieces. Almost everything on here comes with something to cut out, and then it has a cake stand, and it has birthday candles that are real cute that will fit here on the frosting, and then it has this little cake pick, or like a little cupcake topper, but when you run them through, here, you can show them.
Oh, yeah.
I'll show you on here, and then you can show them up on that one. It gets dots. Like, there's little dots. And I see a lot of times online that people just go ahead and stick those on their projects with those dots, but you don't have to put the dots on there. I mean, on this one, it wouldn't look horrible on the cake topper, but I don't know about you, but on my little thing at home, it doesn't have dots on it. So all you have to do is put them back in your Big Shot and put them kind of in the middle, and then take just a piece of, this is just a piece of typing paper, and just roll it back through.
Here, I can do it.
And when you roll it back through, that time it's just going to press them back flat again. And because Tanya has brand new, spanking new plates,
I can show that one.
it takes the dots away. So can you see it? Now they're nice and flat. So those little dots that it puts, I mean, it has to have the dots in there. That's how you poke them out. Otherwise, your paper would stay trapped in there forever. So then all I did to finish the card, I took some window sheet and I mounted it behind here. And then I used the foam adhesive strips and mounted it up here. So then what you get is this. So it looks like your cupcake's mounted behind
A glass cloche.
a glass.
Or cake stand.
And then I did take the gold shimmer paint, not the gold, the champagne mist that has a gold tinge to it, and painted the sequins.
How pretty.
And then on the inside is one of the words from the More Than Words, which is also a celebration coordination, and it says, "Today calls for something sweet." So no matter what card they do at camp, if they pick St. Patrick's Day or if they pick a birthday, it will work for those. And then the reason that you needed to keep this is because when you color this with your blends in here, it's going to bleed through. So all I did was I took this
Oh, that's a
and I
brilliant
mounted it back
idea.
there just so it kind of looked like the inside. But
Here, let me
you want to
show
show
'em.
'em? So it kind of covers up.
This is super cute. See how she put the inside?
It just covers up where it bled through. The alternative is to add one more sheet of cardstock, and it's already kind of thick already with the window sheet and a bunch of the foam strips and this little pick right here that has the shamrock on it. It's on a dimensional too, so I didn't really want to add one more sheet of full cardstock. And I did get that, which Susan's going to show you too. The shamrocks from The Amazing Life, which is perfect. It has a little four-leaf clover
I haven't seen it.
in it.
It's adorable.
That's a stamp set we were given at On Stage. So if you went to On Stage in Orlando in November, you were given that stamp set, so you already have it.
Yep. So that's what I have for you. So I've only used the Hello Cupcake. It was the very first celebration set that I used. And this is the second time that I've used it. So it was a lot of fun. I wasn't so much sold on it until we got the dies, but the dies make it a ton of fun.
So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to use that same stamp set, the Amazing Life stamp set that we got when we were at On Stage. And what I did was I did a couple of things. I'm just going to show you my card so I can kind of explain it to you. But I took, I just wanted to make it really simple. So I used some of my favorite things. And I went in, and if you haven't used ink in an impression folder, it's great fun. So I just took the white craft and I inked the lid. So the part where it says Stampin' Up, I put ink in it, closed it, and ran it through my embossing folder. And that's how I got the black and white detail. And again, we'll take a picture and post this underneath so you can get a better look at it. But then I wanted to make a little tag on it. So I used the tag punch and I tagged the top out. I took my granny apple, and everything I'm using comes from that stamp set. And I started...
Amazing Life.
Yeah. And I started down here and I just stamped across the front of it. And then I wanted to go, I turned it so it went backwards, and then I stamped off each time. So in between each row, I have a darker, lighter pattern to it.
Super pretty.
Thanks. It's always good to stamp with friends. They like what you do. So this is the detail of that. And then I took my Good Luck and my Shamrock, and I stamped on it with Memento. So I put two adorable little shamrocks on here. And I put my Good Luck in the middle. And this could be St. Patrick's Day, but it doesn't have to be. You could take off the green and make it any kind of good luck. I thought about, it's sectional basketball time here in Indiana, so you could do your school colors and do something with it. Now, I know this doesn't show up right now very well, but when I go over it with my blends, I'm using my Granny Apple Green, and there, now you can see the luck so much better. I went ahead and shaded this. I mean, I did super details. Oh, dude, I did the dark and light backwards. Taking pictures of me.
Here, I'll put a picture on it.
Just don't go backwards and see my head.
Oh, I got your hands.
They love the decorations on our heads. Me, not so much.
But it looks so cute on ya.
Yes,
It does. You wear hats well.
My grandchildren will think it was cute on me. So I went ahead and I went dark to light and I colored this with my blends. I don't need to go into a lot of detail. You guys know how to color. But we love the blends. I like to go light to dark, and I just picked up the wrong one. But then when I laid this on my card, it was okay, but I wanted to shade the outside. So I took my light seafoam and I just went around the outside of this just a little bit.
Cute.
That is really pretty.
To make it just a little bit different, like a border. Like you didn't notice I had a border on this until I just showed you that I put a border on it. So I went ahead and mounted it on my Granny Apple Green cardstock. I added my fun Granny Apple ribbon to the top. And then it still needed one more thing. So I took my little wreath. I had these little wreaths sitting on my desk. And I unhooked it.
And I love those.
You can unhook these little things and then it becomes a leafy border.
A garland.
Yeah. So I just took this over the front to get it to stick to my card. If I turn this down and put it on with a glue dot and hook it on one end, then I can hook it on the other. So that was it. Oh, and I added some little beautiful polka dots that are
Right there.
whoop, whoop. Oh. We hide things from ourselves. These are from the Occasions catalog. So that's the little dots that are in the center.
I'll show them again.
So that was my St. Patrick's Day project.
There's the little dots in the center.
Super cute.
And
Okay.
the shading and the stamping off. All the stuff that you didn't see the first time we showed you the card.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really cute. That mint melody.
cute.
That mint. Did I say mint melody?
You did.
I did. Seafoam.
We're going retro today.
Seafoam. Seafoam green.
Sauce.
Okay. Well, for my project, I am going to show you.
Try to get our stuff out of here so
No.
you don't have a mess.
I had the 2 extra little pizza boxes.
Oh, you laid them on my stuff. I wondered why they were there.
Oh, one moment. I'm going to talk about the pizza boxes. I don't know. I bought a slew of these last year. I was really thankful that they went into the new catalog. And they're a bit of a challenge for me to figure out how to get them to work. And so I was determined that I was going to make a little pot of gold, sort of, with the pizza boxes. So what I did, one of the things that I found on the pizza boxes, I had a hard time getting the tops and the bottom, like the top to stay down. It would always want to pop back up. And so what I did is I actually, where the score lines are, I just fold it back and forth a little bit, all the way, well, not a little bit, a lot, so that it's really good and creased. I don't know if have you guys used the pizza boxes much?
Yes, and mine that I have, I posted one today on my YouTube, and the box itself is still joining open, so I'm going to go home and do this to it. So it's not a joiner.
It's
'cause
not
I hate
a- yeah.
joiners.
Yes, that is a bad thing to have a
Joiners
joiny
are
box.
good.
That is true. Okay, so how you put these together is you basically just, you take these tabs, and you fold it together like that so that those are tucked in. Then,
I love the way that creases for you. I'm going to go home and do that to mine. impressive.
and you don't have
Doingers.
a doingy box.
great.
Look at that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Because my lid just stays
Woohoo!
permanently open,
That was-
no matter how many times I smash it shut.
I know. That
That was
just,
worth the price
I
you all
just-
paid to be here
I
today.
just kind of got mad, and I'm like, dang it, I'm gonna get this thing to stay down. So that's what happens when you go there in your craft space. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to use the Country Floral Dynamic Textured Impressions Embossing Folder. So this real
You get a workout every time you say the name.
I love it. It's beautiful. And so the first thing I tried was I tried to run the whole box through. Okay, this is my practice. It's not too pretty, but it is kind of cool. Like, I like the embossing on the box. Okay, well then I tried that. I didn't like it because it kind of went all the way through the box, and I had some little holes and things, and I was like, that's not so great. But you know, I had a practice one, so I actually tried the shimmer paint on the back because I thought, well, you know, I wanted a little shimmer, a little goldish looking. Yeah, that's still sticky after like 12 hours of sitting. No bueno. So what I did is I have my box, and then I cut some gold foil paper, and I've got the measurements. It's like 3 3/8 by 3.5. And then the side pieces, I've got 3 of them, and they are 3.5 by 1 inch. I'll post those so you guys actually have them. I mean, you could probably figure it out, but just to make it easy.
I always love when somebody else does the math
Makes
for me.
it easy. So we're gonna run this little puppy through. Yeah.
And she's got 3 of them in there at one time, which is brilliant.
Oh, sorry. Oops. Yeah, we
Holding
make a
on for
mess.
dear life.
Ah, it's a ride. Okay, so then you get, oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? Look how beautiful that is. It made me so happy. It's just, oh, it's scrumptious. It's like, for real, it's like liquid gold. Okay, so I'm gonna let you run this one through if you don't mind while I like an assistant.
We should all have a big shot assistant all the time. Just
Okay.
like in surgery.
So the next thing I wanted to do is I want to make sure that all of my edges are covered as I'm putting it on there. I don't think using snail is going to be strong enough. So I went ahead and used some of the Terrible tape, and I just went all around the outside and put a couple of, like, a cross in the center, an X.
It's actually called Terran tape. We called somebody on stage a couple of years ago
Terrible.
called it Terrible tape,
It's probably like 10 years
and
ago.
that stuck. So
Sorry,
everybody knows
Terran tape, yeah.
what Terrible tape is. It's
Technically.
not, doesn't mean that it's terrible. It means that it's easy to tear.
But we
So-
like terrible tape.
We
A
do
lot.
like it. I like it, yeah. These little guys aren't quite so staticky, and when you pull the double stick part off.
I think it's the video I posted to YouTube today that has the pizza boxes, because I make tiny little note cards, but I'd already packed everything up to come here, which I didn't even use it, but I put my fast fuse in here, and so I'm filming and I have nothing left on my table to stick my note cards together, so I use Terrible tape. So those are some really stuck together note cards.
Yes, they are. Okay, so now I've got a little edge. I have found that because you're running it through this Dynamic Texture Impressions folder, that was pretty good. It may shrink your paper, or it might stretch it out one way or the other. So even though I cut it correctly, I still have this little extra piece. And so I'm just gonna take my snips and just kind of cut it along the box. And you know, you've got a straight edge, so it works pretty well. Then I'm gonna do essentially the same thing on all 4 sides. So I'm just gonna put one more on here, and then I'll kind of, okay, so, and again, I've got a little extra on this side, so I'm just gonna But you can already start to see how luscious that looks for, like, I mean, that looks like money if you want to, yeah, treasure box, money. Okay, so
it would be so much fun if it wasn't for St. Patrick's Day, if you have kids who are losing their teeth, for the tooth fairy to leave her money in it.
oh my gosh, well, that would be adorable.
It looks like
That's
a
a
tooth fairy box.
Yeah, it does. It looks, and
like
a little piece
princess
of
box.
a little piece of gold left from the tooth fairy. Okay, I'm going to take some of the leaf ribbon, just a couple little snips. Let's see, it's about, I'm saying 6 inches maybe. And then I'm going to take some of the gold thread, and I like to double this when I use it. It's hard to see, just because it gives me a little bit more to work with. And I'm taking, I guess I should, so I'm just going to tie a little knot just to kind of hold that in place. So nothing too special at the moment. But then I'm going to take some of my gold sequin, I mean this stuff, more liquid gold, and I'm just going to, I also have a hard time working with this because I want it to cut and lay flat, and it just doesn't do that. So I decided to go with the, just go with it. So I made like a back and forth bow, just loops. Oops. Just back and forth loops. And then I'm also going to take some more of this thread, and like I said, I double it, kind of like you were going to sew something. However, we don't sew things generally. I did see a dress on Pinterest today that was from the 1940s. This is completely off topic, but my son is engaged now, and I mean, I got a lot of time. It's 10/10/20 is the projected wedding date, and I found this dress, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the dress that I want, because you know everybody wants to have a pretty dress for their kids' weddings. And it's from 1940s, and it's like got this, it's like a 3/4 length sleeve. It's kind of just below the knee, and then it's got this cute, like, little cape on it, and it's out of velvet. It was just, oh, it's stunning. Actually, I'll post the link below because you really need to see it. It's so pretty.
So
and I'm like,
how much
okay,
was
now
it?
where am I? It was on Pinterest. It's a vintage thing, and I'm like,
Well, your mom can make it. Her mom's a fabulous seamstress.
Mom, are you watching? She'll be like,
Ramona.
what?
I just volunteered your seamstress skills.
Yeah. She'll be like, what? I don't know. My soon-to-be daughter-in-law, she actually likes to sew, so.
Oh.
I know.
Well, the bride can make them.
Maybe bride and grandma can
Mother-in-law.
make the bow or make the dress. So, okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie this little piece of, I'm using the thread that I just, oh, sometimes thread can be cantankerous. Okay. Hang on a minute. All right. You got the 2 ends, and then you're going to lay this in here. I do this a million times, but okay. So you get the general gist. And then you're gonna fluff it, and you're just gonna take some glue dots, and you're just gonna put your bow on it. Okay, so yeah, that's not the prettiest thing. But look at this one! Isn't that so much fun? And it's not a doinging box. I was so excited to figure out how
I'm
to
just
get
so
that.
impressed that it's shut.
I know!
That it's not doinging.
So here we go. Here's the finished product, and look at the shine. Like, you could put that at the end of a rainbow.
You could use them as wedding favors on a
Yeah,
table.
that's one of the things that I was thinking, because a couple of years ago, a friend of mine wanted me to make 50th anniversary favors, and she wanted like 75 of them. And it was like it was hard to come up with something.
This would be beautiful.
So you could do it for silver anniversaries or all kinds of stuff.
And if you just joined us and you've joined late, here are the other 2 cards, and we will post pictures of them and the snippets of the video that was the close-up of us making them once I get home later.